Coming up, we're going to tell you about some released WWE stars that turned down the Royal Rumble. Plus, a top Raw star is reverting to a past gimmick, it seems. And AEW stars were making shock indie appearances all over the weekend. Let's get to it. Royal Rumble on Saturday. I keep almost defaulting to say it's Sunday. I'm so used to it being Sunday. Truth be told, my birthday is on Monday. And I'd messaged Adam and said, look, I know I'd normally take my birthday off, but as it's the Rumble, I'll come in and I'll get involved. We'll do some stuff. And it's on a Saturday, so I didn't even need to say that. Talked myself out of a day off. Release stars turning down the Rumble, Ross. Who are we talking about?
Yes, Fightful are reporting that the inspiration of Impact Wrestling fame and elsewhere fame, internet fame, have turned it down. Cassie Lee and Jess McKay didn't feel it was the right time to make their WWE return. Fightful also say they aren't the only releases over the past 2 years who have been contacted about a return, and I would say good for those two lasses.
They're very much happy with what they're doing now and the path they're on as the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, and they're not keen on coming in and doing anything involved in the Rumble. And you know what? I wonder how many others will go, no, you sacked me. Yeah. Why should I come out and help you out now?
That is good on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm just hoping and praying that one day we find out how much Mickie James is being paid for this one-off appearance after the way she was dealt with, with the trash bags and all that sort of stuff. As I said earlier, couple of $1 million, $1 million in one trash bag, another $1 million in the other trash bag. There you go, Mickie James. Have a nice time in the Rumble.
I feel like this is going to be more than just the Rumble for Mickie James, though. I feel like there's a Hall of Fame thing coming for Mickie James. And I like the idea of her bringing a trash bag out during her acceptance speech.
With a ring in it.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Make that a thing. Of course, I think this week we're just going to be ramped up with Rumble rumours and innuendos about who's in it, who's not in it, and stuff like that. I've got a feeling in me waters that Jeff Jarrett's going in it. I mean, because he rocked up on SmackDown randomly.
That was incredibly random. How I know SmackDown was in Nashville last week with legend Summer Rae in the crowd. It's been funny seeing the reaction to that from her over the weekend, how people have been getting annoyed, and she just went, ha, 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 ha.
Oh, she'd be great.
A Twitter-shaped machine gun, just taking people down. It was in Nashville, so obviously that's where Jeff Jarrett's from. That's where he lives, I assume. So he was there, but it was weird. And maybe there's something to do with Rick Boogs there, passing the torch, so to speak, in terms of guitars.
I think it's weird to have Rick Boogs and Jeff Jarrett and then Shinsuke Nakamura in the background, like when you think about solely on wrestling acumen, to have Jeff Jarrett and Rick Boogs with Shinsuke Nakamura just minding his own business behind him, something doesn't feel right there.
Hey, but to be fair to Boogs, he's been on a tear over the last few weeks and months, just showing, as I keep saying on the podcast, the power of Boogs. He can lift people up and throw them and stuff. It's great.
Hey, do you reckon he'll throw Jeff Jarrett out of the Rumble?
He wouldn't dare. That's his father.
Could you imagine? Could you also imagine Alexa Bliss becoming the goddess once again, doing that whole thing?
Yes, I could, Tom, because
with her glove.
I think she's in therapy, so to speak. Well, not so to speak. She is in therapy. We see this every week, and then the therapist isn't very good, and then she loses her bananas and starts trashing things. I think she's in there because that is obviously the genesis for change. So to give her a new gimmick and get away from that gimmick, the natural thing to do is send someone like the spooky bollocks Alexa Bliss to therapy. So I assume that's what's going to happen.
It seems that way. And the reason that we talk about that once more is because it was just the other day that WWE filed some trademarks. So it's trademark news. The Goddess was trademarked, which is Alexa Bliss's former nickname back in the day before she got all spoopy, which kind of lends itself to the idea that these segments, the therapy segments, are going to lead to the return of the Goddess. Are we happy for the Goddess to come back, or do we think that there's more mileage in crazy, wacky Alexa Bliss?
Me personally, I think it's time to bring back the Goddess. I'm not much of a fan. It's when she was doing less magical stuff and just being a weirdo, I was quite on board with that in the later stages before the breakdown she had against Charlotte after the defeat to Charlotte Flair. But the naff magic stuff never really hit for me, Tom. I don't know about you.
I quite like it.
I love silly
Alexa
bollocks
Bliss
in my wrestling, but that stuff never worked. Even when Orton was doing it and The Fiend was doing it, never quite worked for me. Maybe it was just because it was in the Thunderdome and it was a weird vacuum of space where that all stuff was taking place. I don't know.
wasn't the only trademark that was filed on that day, because also WWE trademarked 2 WCW events in particular, Uncensored and Super Brawl. Now, sometimes this is done just to keep the trademarks topped up, so no other promotion comes along and goes, we want to run Super Brawl. But I see a little pattern with WWE using WCW properties for NXT, i.e. your Halloween Havocs and your War Games. You know what? Why not an NXT Uncensored?
Why not? The stranger things have happened. It would be weird in this new NXT 2.0 to see him going back to something like that. Because it would appear that, like, if NXT 2.0 was looking to bring in Halloween Havoc now, they wouldn't do that. They would call it something else. Like, Halloween Hootenanny. I don't know.
It's Jules Holland hosting it. Hello, welcome to Halloween Hootenanny. Please welcome my friend Jim Moore. Please welcome the Kaiser Chiefs.
Vic Reeves is just pissed in the corner. Hey, I love Rob Breaker, man.
She's the best. I'm your host for Halloween Hootenanny, Jules Holland. That'd be... Do it, you cowards. AEW. Now, we talked in the last video about some contracts that are coming to an end, possibly some new people coming in. Serena Deeb on the Reese Waters show said, I don't know if I can say any names yet, but we've just picked up a couple of really strong female members to the roster. I think the one thing that AEW does get a lot of grief for, some of it very well received, is the lack of depth and focus on a women's division. And now that you've got 2 women's championships, you're going to need to do that. And if they've hired some great big names, then more power to them.
Is Marina Shafir one of them? Because I thought it was a bit strange how on Friday, maybe, or Thursday last week, she got a T-shirt released on the official AEW shop, so maybe that means she's signed.
Oh, that's it, isn't it? It's Marina Shafir.
She certainly fits the bill for that description there. But as you say, 2 titles now. Hopefully we'll get more than just sort of one match on Dynamite, one match on Rampage sort of thing, which has been the case in AEW's history so far. So obviously the more upper echelon talents they have in the women's division, the more TV time they should get.
From coming in to going out, Leo Rush is on the way out of AEW. He announced that his contract is just set to expire and he's going to crack on and do other things. He's been announced for the second Terminus event. No opponent for him yet, but 24th of February in Atlanta, he's going to be at Baron Black and Jonathan Gresham's show, which I'm really excited to see. I've really enjoyed the stuff they've been putting together.
Yeah, big time. All the rules and stuff. It's a nice, fresh paint of coat. I've done that thing. Paint of coat. Oh, man. Paint of coat on professional wrestling.
You got your mixed worded up. That's fine.
I did that do. But it is obviously, it's exciting for Leo Rush as well, who obviously put that thing on. I don't know why he was doing the interview of last week where he said just he likes, for his mental health and sanity, to keep things fresh and not be tied down to one promotion in the landscape of pro wrestling, go here, there and everywhere. To just keep him on his toes, keep himself excited. I like that outlook.
I like it as well. And talking about keeping things exciting, keep people on their toes, a whole bunch of AEW stars were all over the indie circuit this weekend. It was a real busy weekend for it, more than ever. John Moxley rocking up in Northeast Wrestling. He beat Channing Thomas in the opening match. Moxley at full speed is something I'm really excited to see. He looks great, doesn't he?
He does look. He's lean, mean. He's a fighting machine. But also, it's wonderful to see that he won that match against Channing Thomas, because during his entrance, I saw it on Twitter over the weekend. He comes out, he's looking all badass and stuff. It's a shocking appearance. The crowd are going mental. He tries to walk down the ramp and he's taking a swig of drink sort of at the same time, and he misses the little ramp and he falls down, but somehow saves it. It's incredible to see the recovery made from that fall there.
It's all about John Moxley recoveries in so many ways in the news. God, I love John Moxley. Great to see him back looking brilliant. As we mentioned in the previous video, Marco Stunt surprising us all, turning up at GCW to help out Joey Janela in the cluster fudge that was the Janela-Matt Cardona match. Run-ins aplenty, and Stunt was amongst them. But this is the one that's really, really intriguing. It happened Sunday afternoon. Progress Wrestling's first show back in front of a live crowd at the Electric Ballroom in Camden. And Anthony Ogogo turned up.
He did. And he did very well.
Yeah, he beat Harry Singh in about 7 minutes. Very well received. Here's why this is interesting. As far as we know, Progress is still affiliated with WWE. And as far as we know, Anthony Ogogo is still affiliated with AEW. This is like the ultimate forbidden door in the United Kingdom. That you walk straight through the duty-free of the forbidden door and into Progress Wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know if I should be saying this, but after I saw that on his Instagram last night, because he was sharing videos of his entrance, I was like, are you still with AEW? Because this, like, you could potentially be on the WWE Network. And he's like, yeah, just get an extra rep in. just because TV time's so limited, I want to get a match on, and even on YouTube, as this will presumably be after he said that. That counts as TV time for him and getting more reps in with the camera on. So that was, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if it does go to the network, like most progressors have, if he's going to be on there, because that is the biggest forbidden door.
It is, isn't it? And it's a go-go kicking it down, of all people. That's interesting news. Some interesting developments from across the weekend. You can check out more news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Ross, I'm glad that you've continued to grow the beard in my absence. I think it's looking fabulous, mate.
Cheers. I'm a bit scared to get it shaped, you know. I've got my trimmer, but I'm scared to take the trimmer to it in case I take too much off.
If you go to a barber's and say to them you want to keep the beard, they will look after you. If you go to the right barber's, just be very careful with it. It's looking good, though, mate. Keep that up.
I'll be paying a visit to Amy. I've forgotten the name of my barber's now. Oh my god! What the hell's my barber's called? one in Newcastle, and she's called Amy. She's a nice lady.
Is it the one that all the footballers go to?
No, it's it's something barbers.
Whilst you're remembering, can I do a big thank you and a big hello
of course you can.
To Megan that works at the Edinburgh Dungeon, right? Because we went and did the Edinburgh Dungeon last week while I was off, and one of the actresses there came out and met us afterwards to say she's a big fan of Cultaholic.
Oh.
She said, I tried to incorporate Join Us into the acting stuff I was doing, but I couldn't find a way to do it. And so it was nice to see you. So hello to Megan from the Edinburgh Dungeon. Thank you very much. You very much made my day. We were quite drunk when we saw you, but thank you very much.
And also hello to Amy from King Kobe in Newcastle City Centre. I got there in the end.
We did it.
I've only been going there for 2 years, Tom. I've only been going there for 2 years.
Short back and sides shaped wrestling news. More later. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.